hopes and dreams.
Superman's dynasty starts with the House of El, which is basically the house to which Kal-El and his father Zor-El belonged. But then Superman was sent to Earth and he started a new family with the likes of his Earth parents, Jonathan and Martha, and Lois Lane, his wife. However, the DC comics are not made up of one universe, and likewise, Superman has also had multiple versions of sons, daughters, and wives. In this video, we will explore the 26 members of the Man of Tomorrow, from his adoptive children and pet dog to his in-laws and uncles, and we have left no stone unturned. However, we have refrained from exploring all the House of El members because that's a topic for another video. So without further ado, let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
I said...
Zor-El, the father. In various portrayals, Zor-El has been depicted as a compassionate scientist who exudes wisdom and has a deep concern for his son Kal-El, aka Superman. Setting him apart from his peers and even his fellow Kryptonians, Zor-El stands out for his willingness to embrace new concepts that defy conservative and traditional schools of thought, which was an attribute that became more pronounced in modern renditions of the character. Following Krypton's cataclysmic downfall, Zor-El's existence lived on only through artificial intelligence. Zor-El's role in Krypton extended beyond that of a mere laboratory scientist. Although devoid of superhuman abilities due to the absence of a yellow sun, his capabilities reached far beyond intellectual pursuits. Some depictions present him as proficient in combat, showcasing skills that surpass the ordinary human level. This was particularly evident in the adaptations like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, where Zor-El is shown to have the knowledge of some martial art form that was unique to Krypton, which enabled him to engage General Zod and protect Kal-El from Zod. In the comics, his character displays acumen in strategic analysis and even assumes the identity of Mr. Oz upon visiting Earth. In the end, Zor-El will always be remembered as a skilled scientist who chose to do what was right and just, and someone who loved his family more than anything in the world. Lara Van, the mother. Lara Van was an exceptionally affectionate and dedicated mother to Kal-El, and her unwavering love for Zor-El, her husband, is certainly unquestionable. She had a remarkable intellect and she served as one of Krypton's most brilliant scientists, making her rather an equal to Zor-El. Hailing from Krypton, Lara Van possessed a range of typical Kryptonian powers, including flight, super strength, speed, healing, stamina, heat and X-ray vision, and a prolonged lifespan. However, like her fellow Kryptonians, she was susceptible to vulnerabilities such as red, blue, yellow, black, and gold kryptonite. In the New 52 continuity, Lara Van retained her stature as a Kryptonian scientist and a medical practitioner. Having received training in both arts and sciences at the Kryptonian Military Academy, she was proficient in combat. Once she valiantly confronted Doomsday during the original Remembrance Day. Her life was spared thanks to the intervention of General Zod, who was then a colonel. Regrettably, the Beast's rampage resulted in the loss of countless lives. In the alternate reality of Dark Knights of Steel, Krypton's catastrophic end finds Lara pregnant with her and Zor-El's child. Fleeing the disaster, they take refuge in a pod that eventually lands on Earth. Amidst the turmoil, Lara enters labor, while Zor-El repels an attack by nearby Kingdom Knights. Lara successfully gives birth to their son Kal-El, and as time progresses, she ascends to the role of queen in the Kingdom of Storms. Nim-El, the uncle. Nim-El, born to Zor-El I, was one of the 3 sons and was also the twin of Zor-El II, aka Superman's old man. In harmony with his family's tradition, Nimel charted a path in the scientific realm. To put it simply, Nimel, Superman's paternal uncle, was the foremost architect of weaponry on Krypton. Aligned with his sibling Jor-El's visionary pursuits, Nimel lent unwavering support to the design of space arcs, a means to safeguard Krypton's population from the impending catastrophe threatening the planet. This iteration of Nimel, along with his complete history and associated appearances, vanished from existence following the culmination of the original multiverse during the Crisis on Infinite Earths event of 1985-86. However, he was subsequently resurrected alongside the resurgence of the Infinite Multiverse amid the Dark Crisis of 2022 to 2023. Zor-El, the uncle. Zor-El is the spouse of Alura, the father of Supergirl or Kara Zor-El, and the brother of Zor-El, which makes him the second paternal uncle to Superman. Traditional portrayals of Zor-El in the earlier eras of Golden Age and Silver Age DC Comics continuities depicted him as a benevolent scientist profoundly concerned for the well-being of his daughter Kara. This portrayal aligned closely with his brother Jor-El's actions, as he too sent his child to Earth for safety. However, in the mid-2000s, DC Comics ventured into various character interpretations for Zor-El, briefly casting him as a deranged scientist harboring animosity towards his own brother. This alternate perspective found its way into the Smallville television series as well. In the narratives that followed DC's The New 52 reboot in the 2010s, Zor-El took on an antagonistic role in the lives of Supergirl and Superman. He was transformed into the malevolent figure known as Cyborg Superman by Brainiac. In the New 52's recalibrated continuity, Supergirl's journey leads her to the planet Inoxia, where she encounters an amnesiac cyborg Superman. This cyborg Superman, upon further exploration, is revealed to be none other than Zor-El. He was saved from Krypton's destruction by Brainiac, who subsequently transformed him into a hybrid being, a fusion of man, a Kryptonian man and machine, tasked with scouting the universe for robust species. Brainiac reshaped Zor-El into a cyborg entity, expunging his memory and reprogramming him to serve as an instrument of malevolence and chaos for Brainiac.
This is Alex.
Alura In-Ze, the aunt. Alura In-Ze was the daughter of In-Ze, spouse to Zor-El, mother to Supergirl, and through marriage, the paternal aunt to Superman. She was created by the creative endeavors of writer Otto Binder and the artist Al Plastino, with her inaugural appearance in Action Comics number 252 in May of 1959. In the story arc titled The Supergirl from Krypton, which was covered in Superman Batman issues 8 through 13, Alura and Zor-El orchestrated the voyage of their daughter away from Krypton. The idea was that Kara would reach Earth beforehand and contribute to Kal's upbringing from infancy. However, circumstances wanted things differently, and Kara remained in suspended animation, leading to her arrival on Earth when her cousin had already matured into a man. During the storyline, Darkseid manipulates Black Kryptonite to divide Kara into her good and evil aspects. The malevolent side of Kara claims that Zor-El dispatched his daughter to Earth with the intention of eliminating his nephew, or Superman. She believed her father was driven by resentment towards his elder sibling and desired to end the lineage of Zor-El. In the television series Supergirl, Alura is initially brought to life by Laura Benanti during seasons 1 and 2. Later on, she is portrayed by Erica Durance in seasons 3 and 4. This iteration of Alura is depicted as a member of the esteemed Kryptonian Science Council. Additionally, she has a twin sister named General Astra, also portrayed by Laura Benanti, who emerges as a central antagonist in the first season alongside her husband Non. Astra's involvement in a coup attempt and her subsequent quest to dominate Earth adds to the dramatic tension. She seeks to persuade Kara that her actions are aimed at the planet's betterment.
I got the chopper.
Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, the cousin. Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, was born on the planet Krypton to Superman's uncle and aunt. She was dispatched to Earth by her father, who sought to safeguard her life. Raised by the Danvers family, Kara assumed the mantle of protector in National City. Concealing her true identity, she goes by Kara Danvers while attending high school. Her Kryptonian heritage bestows her with an array of potent abilities, establishing her as one of the world's mightiest heroes in the DC universe. In fact, Supergirl has been a part of superhero teams like the Justice League and the Red Lantern Corps. Analogous to Jon, Kara Zor-El surpasses Superman in terms of power. Despite being older than Kal-El, Kara's prolonged hypersleep resulted in her arriving on Earth when Kal was already a male adult. While sharing a common set of powers, Superman has had the opportunity to hone his skills and acclimate to his heightened senses over several decades. Kara's introduction to Earth occurred during her teenage years, limiting her exposure to a yellow sun compared to Superman's longer tenure. Instances like her tenure as a Red Lantern saw her powers surging beyond those of Superman, but in her role as Supergirl, she generally stands slightly behind her cousin. Her role in the Superman family's narrative is significant, marking the inception of this legacy. As the originator of this lineage, she holds the distinction of being the first individual entrusted with bearing Superman's symbol and colors. Her contributions have firmly established her as a worthy inheritor of these iconic emblems, attesting that her claim to these symbols is as legitimate as her cousin's. In the storyline, the Supergirl from Krypton featured in Superman Batman, Kara was once again seen donning the superhero things, and no one complained. This revitalization led to Kara headlining her own comic book series, which continued with DC Rebirth. Helen Slater portrayed her in the 1984 film Supergirl. The DCEU featured Sasha Calle as Supergirl in DCEU's latest installment, The Flash, where Slater also made a cameo reprising her 1984 role. An upcoming standalone film, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, is in development as part of the reimagined DC universe. Jonathan and Martha Kent, adoptive parents. Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent, often affectionately referred to as Pa and Ma Kent, were the adoptive parents of Superman. Residing in the serene town of Smallville, Kansas, they were the ones who discovered the infant Kal-El after his crash landing on Earth following Krypton's destruction. Swiftly adopting him into their family, they named the alien child Clark, which was Martha's own maiden name, and Jonathan gives Clark his surname, turning Kal-El into Clark Kent. In the varied retellings of Superman's origins, the Kents have consistently exhibited boundless affection for their adoptive son. Rooted in moral virtue, they nurture Clark's development of an unwavering moral compass and channel his extraordinary powers towards the betterment of humanity. In several iterations, it is Martha who crafts Clark's iconic superhero attire, often using the very blankets his biological parents swathed him in before his interplanetary journey. In earlier continuities prior to the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, the Kent's journey concludes soon after Clark's high school graduation. Post-Crisis, they continue to be vital presences throughout Clark's adulthood, a role that persists until Jonathan's demise at the hands of the supervillain Brainiac. Martha remains an integral support figure in Superman's life until the New 52 reboot in 2011, in which both she and Jonathan have passed away because of a drunk driver. However, they were given a more prolonged role in 2019 as part of the DC Rebirth reimagining. Jonathan and Martha Kent in the DC Extended Universe are portrayed by Kevin Costner and Diana Lane, respectively. Introduced in the 2013 film Man of Steel, the film delves into their life-changing influence on Clark's journey. While nurturing him in his formative years, Martha assists Clark in managing his heightened senses, offering comfort when they threaten to overwhelm him. The film highlights the tension between Clark's yearning to use his powers for good and Jonathan's inclination to protect Clark's secret. The turning point arrives when a tornado engulfs the area, resulting in Jonathan's tragic demise, and Jonathan asks his son not to save him just to ensure that no one knew about Clark's powers. Jonathan sacrifices himself, leaving a lasting impact on Clark's journey and future years. Years later, when General Zod and his fellow Phantom Zone prisoners demand information from Martha, she shows unwavering resilience, ultimately being rescued by her son's timely intervention. Jonathan and Martha Kent stand as pillars of support, shaping his moral character and guiding him towards a destiny that resonates with the core of his identity. Krypto the Superdog. Krypto, also called Krypto the Superdog, is a fictional superhero dog that's related to Superman. In most story arcs, Krypto is Superman's loyal pet dog, typically depicted as a white canine, but his breed may vary. Krypto's appearance may take cues from a variety of dog breeds, including the Labrador Retriever, Dalmatian, White Shepherd, Husky, Dingo, and Pai Dog in Indian versions, or Tugao in Chinese versions. Krypto debuted in Superboy Adventure Comics number 210 from as far back as March 1955. Created by writer Otto Binder and artist Kurt Swan, Krypto was initially intended as a one-time character. However, the enthusiastic response from readers propelled his return 4 issues later, ultimately establishing him as a prominent character in Superboy's world. In his original pre-crisis portrayal, Krypto had an array of powers equivalent to those of an adult Kryptonian, albeit scaled to a smaller size and canine nature. For instance, his heightened sensory abilities, including keen smell and hearing, surpassed even those of Superman, mirroring the enhanced senses of ordinary dogs relative to humans. Additionally, Krypto had super canine intelligence, a unique blend of human-level understanding mingled with his innate canine instincts. Krypto in DC League of Super Pets can land a special attack named the Solar Paw Punch. This uber-cool move is carried out by harnessing the sun's energy, which allows Krypto to strike his opponent with a solar-infused blow. Lois Lane Kent, the wife. Lois Lane is a reporter and the foremost romantic interest of Superman and later his wife in the DC continuity. Also known as Superwoman, she works for Metropolis's esteemed newspaper, The Daily Planet. With her origin dating back to 1938, Lois's depictions have evolved across the Superman comic book stories. Originally, Lois's physical attributes were inspired by model Joanne Carter. Her character and personality were influenced by actress Glenda Farrell's portrayal of fictional reporter Torchy Blaine, while her name was inspired by the actress Lola Lane. Additionally, real-life journalist Nellie Bly served as a notable inspiration for her creation. Over time, Lois's personality traits have exhibited variations depending on the era's societal attitudes towards women and the perspectives of individual comic writers. Yet, across most incarnations, she has been portrayed as a strong, independent woman who doesn't back down and often risks her life for a story. The physical appearance of Lois Lane has undergone several transformations as well, which were again based on the prevailing fashions and contemporary media adaptations of her age when she was written. Lois is the daughter of Ellen and Sam Lane. In earlier comics, her parents hailed from a farming background in a town named Pittsdale. In contemporary iterations, Sam is depicted as a retired soldier and Lois, a military brat, received training in various combat techniques and firearms use under her father's guidance. She also has a younger sibling named Lucy. In the Golden Age and Silver Age tales, Lois's suspicions regarding Clark Kent's true identity as Superman frequently arose, although Superman adeptly quashed such notions. While this dynamic sometimes lent itself to humor, post-1970s stories generally dialed down her curiosity about Superman's secret identity. Portrayed by Amy Adams in the DC Extended Universe, Lois Lane mirrors her comics counterpart as a Daily Planet reporter. Amy Adams has appeared in several DCEU films, including Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Justice League, and its director's cut. Lois's character was designed to fit a contemporary reporter in a world where superheroes walk among us. Jon Kent, the son. Jonathan Kent is the eldest son of Superman and Lois Lane and began his crime-fighting journey as Superboy at the tender age of 10. However, an incident caused him to experience time differently. Subsequently, he returned as a 17-year-old, having gained valuable experiences in the intergalactic crime-fighting scene and earning a place in the Legion of Superheroes in the 31st century. Upon his return, Jon took up the mantle of Superman in his father's absence and dedicated himself to upholding truth and justice to make Earth a better place. Later, he met Jay Nakamura, and the two eventually became romantically involved. Jon's Superboy attire is a mix of casual and classic elements. This outfit features red sneakers, blue jeans, a zipper jacket with the iconic S shield, and a stylishly short cape. Designer George Jimenez explained that the costume was crafted with a youthful and contemporary vibe in mind. It draws inspiration from current fashion trends like ripped jeans to ensure Jon's mobility and relatability for modern teenage readers. Initially introduced at the age of 10, Jon's powers started with super hearing and gradually expanded to include invulnerability, superhuman strength, heat vision, X-ray vision, freezing breath, super speed, enhanced vision, flight, and more. His power progression is closely tied to his emotions due to his young age, resulting in occasional inconsistencies. Jon's unique genetic makeup, a blend of human and Kryptonian DNA, contributes to his developing abilities, which could potentially surpass those of his father, Superman. While his powers are formidable, Jon, like Superman, remains vulnerable to magic and kryptonite. Sam Lane, father-in-law, deceased. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, Sam Lane, the father of Lois Lane, underwent a transformation, evolving into a stern and outspoken US Army general with a complex relationship with his daughter Lois. His character shift stemmed from his desire for a son, which led him to treat Lois as a surrogate son, often distant and occasionally present. This revamped version of Sam Lane first appeared in The Adventures of Superman number 424 in January 1987, which was also a new direction for the former Superman series. His significance in the story grew when Lois announced her engagement to Clark Kent. Despite Clark's unwavering commitment to Lois, Sam remained unimpressed with the mild-mannered reporter and even hesitated to attend their wedding. During Lex Luthor's presidency, Lane assumed the role of Secretary of Defense. This positioned Lois, an investigative journalist aiming to expose Luthor's corruption, in direct opposition to her father. The tensions between them escalated during the Imperiex War, ultimately leading to General Lane's apparent demise. He sacrificed himself by detonating his tank's nuclear engine to breach an Imperiex probe's armor and allow Black Lightning to neutralize it. In Action Comics number 832 from December 2005, a Halloween-themed issue, Sam Lane's ghost appeared to Lois, providing an opportunity for them to address their unresolved issues. The issue's conclusion hinted that Sam had found inner peace, although some interpreted this as a suggestion that he might still be alive. In the TV series Smallville, portrayed by Michael Ironside, General Lane's character also underwent changes. Struggling to raise his daughters alone after his wife's passing, he applied a military chain of command to his parenting style. style. This caused resentment from Lois and Lucy. Later episodes revealed that he had a hand in aging Chloe with covert surveillance equipment, and he formed an unexpected bond with Clark Kent. In the 10th season episode titled Ambush, General Lane devised tests for Lois's previous boyfriends to gauge their worthiness. Ultimately, Clark was the one Lois stood up for, revealing her love for him. Despite initial disagreements, General Lane's involvement in the Vigilante Registration Act sparked conflict, leading him to cross paths with the Suicide Squad and Rick Flag. Eleanor Lane, mother-in-law, deceased. In the comic book universe, Eleanor Lane, or Ella, birthed Lois and Lucy Lane. She married General Sam Lane and had been a consistent presence in their daughters' lives, at least in the early years, where she supported them with her love and care. Despite her deep affection for her husband, their differing opinions, particularly concerning Lois's relationship with Clark Kent and Superman, create occasional conflicts. When an intergalactic conflict came to Earth from Apocalypse, the home of Darkseid, Sam sacrificed himself to protect Earth. Ella, along with Lucy, Lois and others, mourns his loss, with even Superman paying his respects at the funeral. In the Planet Krypton arc, it's revealed that Sam Lane is actually alive and manipulates Lucy into becoming Superwoman. However, Ella's feelings about her husband's resurrection and subsequent actions are left unexplored. In Superman Secret Origin number 5, Ella's story takes a different turn, and it is revealed that Ella Lane passed away long before, leaving Lois with pictures but lacking a deep personal connection. Unfortunately, Ella's kids were too young to remember much of their mother in their adulthood. In the New 52 continuity, a flashback portrays Ella as a supportive mother who strives to maintain family unity despite their frequent travels. She battles cancer and eventually succumbs, leaving Lois to take on both sisterly and motherly roles for Lucy. However, in the 10th season of Smallville, Sam Lane leaves behind a box of memorabilia prepared by Ella for Lois. Among the items is a crystallized bird named Old Blue, along with videotapes Ella recorded before her passing. One of these tapes reveals Ella's wish for Lois and Lucy not to see her during a hospital stay, aiming to preserve happy memories. Ella says that her absence should never hinder Lois's capacity to share love. She reassures Lois of her unwavering love and leaves a card specifically crafted for Lois's wedding day. Leo Lane, brother-in-law. The 2021 issues of DC's Justice League and Checkmate comics have revealed a stunning detail about Lois Lane's family history. A previously unknown brother named Damon Rose, later identified as Leonardo Lane, came to the forefront with the potential to take down the Justice League. As part of a world where intelligence agencies have been dismantled and absorbed by Leviathan, Checkmate, a reformed group of heroes and agents, aims to counter the global threat. In Checkmate number 4, written by Brian Michael Bendis and illustrated by Alex Maleev, Leonardo Lane discloses his existence to Lois Lane and seeks Checkmate's help. His exceptional skills as a master spy and combatant attract the attention of shadowy figures who wish to hire him to eliminate the Justice League. Despite the belief in his capabilities, Leonardo refuses, which shows that he is a man of principles. Justice League number 68, created by Bendis and Scott Godlewski, follows Checkmate monitoring Leonardo's situation. His pursuit by Deathstroke-like assassins and his rejection of the task to eliminate the Justice League highlights his abilities and ethical stance. This plot then delves into Damon Rose's character, his connections, and his role in countering emerging threats, emphasizing his complexity and significance in the unfolding DC Universe storyline. Leo was the youngest child of Sam Lane, but Sam kept the secret hidden from his daughters. In fact, Sam trained Leo in the arts of spycraft, weapon use, strategy, etc. Now, Leo can become an important and interesting tool in the future of DC Comics, and maybe even the movies. He very much has the potential of strategizing a complete breakdown of the Justice League as we know it, but I believe he would essentially serve as more of an anti-hero than a villain. Lucy Lane, sister-in-law. Lucy Lane, like her elder sister Lois, grew up in an army family led by their strict father, Sam Lane. While Lois was more of a daredevil and troublemaker, Lucy was somewhat spoiled due to her being the younger sibling. As an adult, Lucy worked as a flight attendant until a traumatic incident left her blind. She tried to end her life but was saved by Bizarro. The encounter miraculously restored her sight and renewed her appreciation for life. She then dated two of Lois's colleagues in a sorry attempt to be more like Lois. Her romantic involvement with Jimmy Olsen lasted around 2 years, but they eventually parted ways shortly after Superman's arrival in Metropolis. Lucy played an active role in Lois and Clark's wedding, organizing both the bachelorette party and the bridal shower. The Imperiex War and her father's subsequent death hit Lucy hard. She joined the military in an attempt to honor his memory, harboring resentment towards Lois for prioritizing her relationship with Superman over her duties as a daughter. Unbeknownst to Lucy, General Sam Lane was alive and collaborating with the government on projects involving Kryptonians. Lucy participated in one of these projects, which endowed her with superhuman abilities much like the ones Kryptonians have. Adopting the persona of Superwoman, Lucy infiltrated New Krypton as a liaison between Kryptonians and Earth. Wearing a magical suit that replicated Kryptonian powers and protected her from kryptonite, she concealed her true identity. However, her clash with Supergirl exposed her, resulting in a confrontation that led to the destruction of her power suit's magic containment field. Lucy's fate was uncertain following the ensuing explosion. While initially powerless, the suit's containment field had given her Kryptonian-like abilities, including super strength, speed, invulnerability, flight, heat vision, and freeze breath. The suit also guarded against kryptonite and granted her the ability to revive herself by absorbing another's life force. Othor-Ra and Osul-Ra, adopted daughter and son. During his mission to free refugees on Warworld, Superman encountered two Phalosian children named Otho and Osul, known as the Super Twins, along with other Phalosians. Together they started a rebellion against the tyrant Mongol. Interestingly, Otho's lineage as the heir of the old god Olgran seems like he would play an important role in Earth's future in DC Comics. After the Phalosians returned to their homeland, Osul and Othor-Ra chose to remain on Earth. Welcomed by Lois and Clark into the House of El, they were dubbed the Super Twins by the media. Osul adapted to Earth more easily while Otho struggled, displaying lingering habits from her past in the arena where she was brainwashed into believing that cruelty was strength and kindness was weakness. Although she was trying to change herself, old habits die hard. Otho's fascination with an anti-alien group, Blue Earth, led her to a confrontation with a supposed necro-drone. Unbeknownst to her, it was a creation of Superman's foe, Metallo. In her attempt to prevent harm, Otho appeared to kill an innocent person, leading to a massive controversy. Jon, Clark's son, and Osul-Ra intervened during a Blue Earth rally infiltrated by necro-drones. A showdown against Metallo followed, resulting in the capture of the twins. Their rescue by Clark, who used Genesis to neutralize kryptonite, showcased their newfound unity with a former enemy. They agreed to assist Metallo in saving his sister Tracy, who had been abducted. The hunt for Tracy brought them face to face with cyborg Superman. United in purpose, the Super Twins, Superman, Metallo, Steel, and Superboy confronted the cyborg Superman in an underground chamber. Otho's animosity towards Metallo remained strong, but Superman emphasized the potential for adversaries to unite for a common goal. During the confrontation with cyborg Superman, the twins showed their resilience and bravery, ultimately aiding in thwarting the threat. Metallo's emotional connections with the Super Twins paralleled his past, and he recounted his tragic story. Zor-El, Imposter daughter. Zor-El, introduced in Superman, the 10-cent adventure issue number 1 by Steven Seagal and Scott McDaniel, burst onto the scene by defeating the radioactive villain Radion. She publicly revealed herself as Superman's daughter, sparking outrage from Lois Lane. Lois suspected a potential affair with Wonder Woman or Zatanna. given Zor-El's striking resemblance to Superman, who kept telling Lois that he had no idea who this young girl was. It was later revealed that Zor-El hailed from a grim future and had been sent back by the Future Smiths. In this future, heroes like Batman and Wonder Woman had been transformed into cyborgs and the world was crumbling down. When Zor-El addressed Lois as Mommy, more confusion started in the Kent family. Anyway, Superman, initially supportive, discovered she wasn't Lois's child after a Star Labs test. Zor-El, also known as Mia, displayed powers similar to Superman's but wasn't biologically connected. She joined the modern Superman family, aligning with Supergirl, Superboy, Krypto and others to combat crime. As Zor-El's origin unraveled, it was revealed she was a pawn in Brainiac's scheme. Brainiac planned to exploit Superman's vulnerability for his Trojan horse strategy. Realizing the impending dark future, Zor-El sacrificed herself by vanishing into a time portal to prevent her birth. Following her heroic act, Zor-El's appearances remained sparse. In a comic story, she joined various Supergirl iterations from alternate realities to assist Superman and Batman. Joel William Kent. Superboy, also known as Con-El and Connor Kent, was a unique genetic creation, a clone crafted from the DNA of both Superman and Lex Luthor. In the aftermath of Superman's demise, several contenders vied for his legacy. Superboy, designated as Subject 13, emerged from Project Cadmus, a clone cultivated by Eve Watson. His initial attire fused a Superman-inspired suit with distinctive elements like a leather jacket and fashionable sunglasses. As fate would have it, Superman's return to life forged an alliance with the youthful Superboy. In time, he embraced his Kryptonian identity, Con-El. A major turning point in his journey came when he joined the ranks of the inaugural Young Justice, a team he co-founded with his closest allies, namely Tim Drake, Cassie Sandsmark and Bart Allen. Superboy's encounters ranged from battling King Shark in Hawaii to facing off against his enhanced clone Match. As time passed, he adopted the name Connor Kent, acknowledging his genetic connection to Clark Kent. The Teen Titans welcomed Connor and his modified look, exchanging spandex for a t-shirt and jeans adorned with the Al family emblem. Amidst his heroic exploits, he clashed with Superboy Prime, a twisted variant of Superman, and that too in multiversal confrontations. Tragedy struck during the Crisis event, leading to Connor's demise and profound grief for those who cherished him. But of course, that was not the end for Con-El, aka Connor Kent. Connor's resurrection saw him becoming the adopted son of Martha and Jonathan Kent, Superman's foster parents. Settled in Smallville, he grappled with typical teenage experiences like school, infatuation, and minor mishaps, such as a misplaced tractor. His enduring connection to Superman's legacy continues to define his journey. Kara Kent. Cousin. Lara Kent is yet another Supergirl, but of course, she has a different origin story. Born to Superman and Lois Lane, Kara's arrival posed a not-so-unique challenge for her superpowered family. Having previously experienced the loss of powers by their son Joel due to gold kryptonite exposure, the couple had to carefully deal with the complexities of raising a child with extraordinary abilities. During her infancy, Kara required guidance in mastering her powers, all the while keeping them hidden from Joel to prevent jealousy. As a teenager, Kara adopted the persona of Supergirl, concealing her distinctive blonde hair with a black wig. She even established a youthful Justice League alongside other heroes' offspring and found romance with Bruce Jr., the son of Batman. Upon reaching adulthood, Kara assumed the mantle of Superwoman and became romantically engaged to Bruce Jr., who was then serving as Batman. However, it was revealed that Lex Luthor had divulged the family's secrets to Joel, manipulating him with falsehoods and administering an experimental serum that granted Joel his own powers. Tragically, this led to a confrontation between siblings, resulting in Joel taking Kara's life. Jon Lane Kent, metahuman hating son. Jon Lane Kent, also known as Superboy and Kon-El, was definitely one of the most important characters in the New 52 continuity of DC Comics, at least as far as Superman and his story are concerned. Hailing from an alternate future timeline, Jon is the offspring of Superman and Lois Lane. His unique Kryptonian and human heritage leads to health instability, tragically causing his demise shortly before his 4th birthday. Grieving, Superman and Lois vanish to the Fortress of Solitude, seemingly never to return. However, Jon's story takes an unexpected turn when a time traveler known as Harvest finds out about Jon's death. Recognizing Jon's condition as torpor rather than true death, Harvest uses advanced technology and chronal energy to revive him. Adopting Jon as his own son, Harvest manipulates him into despising metahumans despite being one himself, and together they embark on a genocidal crusade against their kind. Time and circumstance force Jon and Harvest to revisit the past in search of a solution. They secure genetic samples from Superman and Lois, founding the organization called Nowhere. Using these samples, they create a clone named Kon-El, who assumes the mantle of Superboy with the intent to find a cure for Jon's condition. During the Forever Evil storyline, Teen Titans find themselves transported through time, confronting Jon and Harvest's metahuman conflict-ridden future. A battle ensues between Jon and his clone, Kon-El, ultimately resulting in Kon-El's summoning the Oracle. After these events, Jon is rescued and cared for by future versions of Beast Boy and Ravager, before being introduced to the Titans as Kon-El. As the Titans continue their temporal journey, Jon decides to maintain the masquerade, assuming the role of Kon-El while pursuing his nefarious covert agenda against metahumans. Hyperman, son of Superman and Wonder Woman in Kingdom Come. Jonathan Kent, born in the reality known as the Kingdom, is the stupidly or rather insanely powerful offspring of Superman and Wonder Woman. His life turns around entirely when shortly after his birth he is abducted by Gog, an agent of the Quintessence. Gog's intent is to eliminate Superman throughout various points in history. Jonathan finds himself trapped within a kryptonite-laden enclosure in the year 1998 in the mainstream reality. Superman, Wonder Woman and Batman of the Kingdom reality collaborate to rescue Jonathan from Gog's clutches. However, despite their best efforts, Jonathan seemingly disappears, casting doubt on the effectiveness of their actions. Unbeknownst to them, Jonathan has slipped into Hypertime, a realm where timelines intersect and intertwine. There, an elder version of Jonathan safeguards him as the guardian of Hypertime. As Gog is defeated and the concept of Hypertime becomes apparent, the infant Jonathan is eventually returned to his parents. What sets Jonathan apart from other versions of Clark or Jonathan Kent is his innate ability to navigate and manipulate Hypertime, a novel power that wasn't seen before. With this ability, he gains the capacity to travel between different timelines and universes at his own discretion. Lara Lane Kent, unborn daughter. Lara Lane Kent was also the daughter of Clark Kent and Lois Lane. While her life is tragically cut short before her birth, a glimpse into an alternate dream world offers a vision of what might have been. Oh yes, the poor girl was murdered even before she was born. This alternate reality shows a metropolis untouched by tragedy, where Lois remains unharmed and Batman takes a drastic step against the Joker, deciding to finish him off once and for all. Lara's formative years are marked by close familial bonds with her parents. As Lara matures, her innate Kryptonian abilities manifest, and she receives guidance on harnessing them from her father and fellow Justice League members, including Green Arrow. Gradually, Lara becomes a fixture in her father's activities, accompanying him to League engagements and battles. Eventually, she forges her own heroic path. Engaging in candid conversations with her father, Lara contemplates the persistent struggle against crime. Superman suggests they take a more hands-on approach, prompting her playful response about potentially becoming lesser-grade villains. In her alternative journey, Lara transitions into an ambassadorial role within the Justice League. Her focus shifts from direct combat to guiding regular individuals in their own fights against injustice. Later, she embarks on a mission into Greenland to address environmental challenges. Christopher Kent, the adopted son whose biological parents were Zod and Ursa. When a spacecraft plummeted towards Metropolis, Superman swiftly intervened to ensure that it did not crash land on Earth. Inside, to his astonishment, Superman found a young boy. The parallels to his own arrival on Earth as an infant were uncanny. The boy, named Lord Zod, according to Kryptonian inscriptions on the ship, emerged from the vessel unscathed, much like Superman had years ago. It was confirmed in Action Comics number 851 that he was indeed a Kryptonian. Superman discreetly removed Lord Zod from the Department of Meta-Human Affairs' care and, in collaboration with Lois Lane, decided to raise the child as his own, and the couple gave him the identity of Christopher Kent. Growing up, Chris exhibited extraordinary strength and only spoke Kryptonian. Despite attending a prestigious school, concealing his powers proved challenging, particularly during physical education classes. To aid him, Batman and Superman developed a wristwatch-like device that harnessed red sun radiation, temporarily suppressing Chris's powers while he was at school. However, this solution was short-lived, resulting in an unintended explosion and forcing the family to find alternative ways to manage Chris's burgeoning abilities. During a public announcement by Superman about his guardianship of Chris, an attempt by Bizarro attempted to abduct the child, but failed. Superman soon learned that Chris was the biological son of General Zod and Ursa, and it wasn't before long that Zod and his allies managed to escape the Phantom Zone. Evidently, Chris was conceived and raised in an isolated section of the Phantom Zone, unaffected by its time-dilating properties. Accounts hinted at the hardship and mistreatment he endured under Zod and Ursa's rule. Being the father, Zod sought to regain custody of his son and captured Lois Lane. But things really escalated when Zod invaded Earth, but the attempt was thwarted through a combined effort of Superman and Lex Luthor. Chris ultimately went into the Phantom Zone knowing full well that he would probably never be able to return. In a different comic iteration following the New 52 and DC Rebirth eras, Lord Zod resurfaced with altered allegiances, aligned more closely with his biological father, General Zod. Freed by the Superman Revenge Squad, Lord Zod joined forces with the House of Zod, ruling over the planet Jakal. Power Girl, alternate reality cousin. Power Girl, also known as Kara Zor-El, Karen Starr, and Paige, made her debut in All-Star Comics number 58 in January 1976. Power Girl is basically Superman's cousin from an alternate universe. Originally hailing from Earth 2, Power Girl finds herself stranded in the primary universe of DC stories. Here she crosses paths with the Superman of that world and her counterpart Supergirl. Her backstory mirrors Supergirl's, as she is the daughter of Superman's aunt and uncle. When Krypton faced destruction, Power Girl's parents sent her to Earth in a rocket, much like Superman's journey. However, her ship's journey took significantly longer, leading her to arrive on Earth 2. Possessing Kryptonian abilities like super strength, flight, and heat vision, Power Girl dedicates herself to safeguarding innocence and fighting for justice. While both are genetically identical, Power Girl is a more mature and level-headed version of Supergirl. Furthermore, her fighting style is more aggressive. The name Power Girl underscores her determination to be recognized as an individual hero rather than merely a derivative of Superman. Power Girl's involvement spans several superhero teams across different eras, including the Justice Society of America, Justice League Europe, and the Birds of Prey. Over time, Power Girl's origin has undergone various revisions, but it has ultimately circled back to her original identity as the Earth 2 Supergirl. The Crisis on Infinite Earths limited series in 1985 erased Earth 2 from continuity, prompting a retcon that portrayed her as the granddaughter of an Atlantean sorcerer named Arion. This change was met with mixed reception, and subsequent portrayals of Power Girl exhibited inconsistencies. The Infinite Crisis limited series in 2005-2006 reinstated her as a survivor of pre-Crisis Earth 2's Krypton, which has remained the consistent depiction ever since. Superwoman, Lana Lang. Created by writer Bill Finger and artist John Sikela, Lana Lang made her first appearance in Superboy number 10 in September 1950. Throughout the Superman comics history and its adaptations in various media, Lana was constantly depicted as Superman's youthful romantic interest during their shared upbringing in Smallville. In her adult years, she became a close friend of Superman. Lana Lang is among several characters in the Superman universe who share the alliterative initials LL. This includes other notable figures like Superman's primary love interest, Lois Lane, and his arch-nemesis Lex Luthor. During the Silver Age of comics, Lana was frequently featured in stories centered on the adventures of Superboy, the teenage incarnation of Superman. As an adult, she continued to appear in various Superman titles, often competing with Lois Lane for Superman's affections. In more contemporary retellings of the DC comics, Lana and Clark's friendship starts from their teenage years onwards. These revised renditions of Superman's origin story present different accounts. For instance, in Superman's Secret Origins, Lana gains insight into Clark's extraordinary abilities from a young age, becoming one of his earliest confidants outside of his parents and the futuristic legion of superheroes. So, that was all for the members of the Man of Steel's family. I guess I can rightly say that now I know more about Superman's extended family than my own extended family. If you have any suggestions about the video, feel free to reach out in the comments. Is there some other character that you'd like us to explore? Well, you know where to ask.